guys! So funny bumping into you.
Yeah, I mean, we all live here now, so not that funny.
We couldn't get jobs and we ran out of money. We ate chicken out of bowls and rode in big cars full of smelly people to something called work. Every day was a new nightmare.
Hey! You ever heard of a thing called privacy?
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Will you two just shut up and go away? Don't you see, Butters? Teaching people to think of their brand just makes more people like them. This whole thing is wrong. They're telling you guys to reduce yourself into products. We're just performers instead of human beings.
He's right. Trying to make ourselves into a brand just turned us into products. We don't need to be a brand, do we?
Cereal. And yes, you have to pay for everything, Harry. Life is hard. Most people struggle.
I have red hair. I know struggle.
Park County Police Station, what's your emergency?
Yeah, the neighbors across the street are setting off fireworks and it's 10:30 at night.
Oh, is it the Prince of Canada and his wife who just want to be left alone?
Yeah, come on, honey. We don't need this place.
Honey?
The chaos started the moment South Park roasted Meghan fans went wild with memes and jokes, saying the show nailed her flaws perfectly and finally said what no one else would. The internet blew up, and this was just the start because the craziest parts were still coming.
What the hell?
What'd he just say? He victimized me. It's because I'm an ethnic woman. He can't do that. I'll see. Wait, you're ethnic? This is an outrage. We'll just see how he deals with my blue.
Anyway, Meghan, you were saying Dorit's such a what?
What? No, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, Dorit.
Well, I heard it somewhere.
South Park totally ripped into Meghan by showing her screaming for privacy, while at the same time chasing the spotlight, and fans loved it because the joke was too real, since critics had been saying the same thing for years. The episode turned her mixed signals into pure comedy gold, proving she wanted both silence and fame, which just doesn't work, but the roast didn't stop there because things were about to get even harsher.
Auntie Meghan, hello! Oh, I've missed you!
How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
South Park turned Meghan into such an exaggerated cartoon that fans could not stop laughing and replaying it. And the wild part was how real it felt, making people wonder if she had actually become her own parody. And that mix of comedy and reality sparked an online storm she could not escape.
If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines and Netflix shows. We really can live a normal life. Yes, I'm sure you agree, darling.
Why are we so mad today?
Because we want our privacy.
Once the episode dropped, the internet went crazy with memes, clips, and edits, tearing into Meghan nonstop. Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube lit up with jokes and comparisons, and fans loved how raw and unfiltered it all felt, which made it spread worldwide fast. But behind the laughter, her carefully polished image started cracking in ways she could not control, and the next hit made things even worse.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Will you two just shut up and go away?
Oh, you're hilarious, Meghan. Why did you move back here anyway?
It was ultimately a tough call, but there were a lot of factors to consider.
Meghan spent years building a perfect image, but one South Park episode shattered it, and suddenly, she looked less like royalty and more like a cartoon of herself. Fans loved seeing the mask slip as the show exposed the drama, the contradictions, and the ego she tried to hide, and the internet replayed it non-stop. But just when it seemed bad enough, the parody went in even harder, and the next hit cut deeper.
We'll just have to find a way to make £50 billion on our own. We couldn't get jobs and we ran out of money. We ate chicken out of bowls and rode in big cars full of smelly people to something called work. Every day was a new nightmare.
Get ready, because this is where it really went off the rails. South Park didn't just roast Meghan, they ripped apart her whole brand, showing her as someone who loves playing the victim and chasing sympathy while acting self-important. And fans couldn't believe how close it felt to the truth. The jokes hit hard because they exposed cracks in her image that people had been side-eyeing for years. And the big question everyone asked was, if a cartoon parody feels this real, then how much of her persona is just acting? And that thought made the takedown unforgettable. And just when it couldn't sting more, the fan reaction pushed it even further.
This might be the smallest palace I've ever been in.
Hey guys! So funny bumping into you.
Yeah, I mean, we all live here now, so not that funny.
Here's the wild part fans weren't. only laughing, they were actually cheering South Park for doing what glossy magazines and big interviews never dare to do. Instead of sugarcoating or protecting Meghan's image, the show went straight for the weak spots and called out the contradictions in the rawest way possible. And people loved it because, let's be real, it's rare to see powerful figures get mocked this hard in mainstream media. So this episode felt like a total bombshell. Fans online kept saying South Park managed to do in just 20 minutes what years of interviews and documentaries never could, cutting right through the spin. And just when everyone thought that was bold, the next move from the creators proved they could still shock the world even more.
Jesus, what did they do to you? There were highs and lows. It's all good. Anyway, see you guys at tea. Come on, Harry.
Now this is where it really blew up because it stopped being just about Meghan and turned into South Park, proving once again why it is still such a cultural beast. Even after all these years, the show has always thrived on mocking the biggest names, from politicians to celebrities to royals. And this parody showed the bite is still sharp. Fans couldn't believe how the writers managed to take someone so polished and turn her into a cartoon that somehow felt more real than her actual public image. And it raised a wild thought. Maybe satire tells the truth louder than all the interviews and PR games ever could. That's why people didn't just laugh. They treated it like a cultural moment, and while that stung for Meghan, the reactions from her critics pushed fire even hotter.
Hey, can you two keep it down?
Hey! You ever heard of a thing called privacy?
Over, under, around, and through. Meet Mr. Bunny Rabbit, pull and through. I did it.
Good job, Harry.
All right, so here's where it really blows up, because when that South Park episode dropped, Meghan's harshest critics were living their best moment. They had been shouting for years that she was all about the fame, the attention, the drama, and not really about duty or authenticity. And then, boom along comes one of the boldest satirical shows in the world, throwing her whole image under the bus in a way that felt way too real. And suddenly the critics had what felt like solid proof stamped right in front of millions of viewers, fans who were already tired of seeing her everywhere in the media, grabbed onto it like a lifeline, saying, finally, someone said what we have all been screaming all this time. And that made the sting on her reputation so much deeper, because you know how it goes. Once a joke starts sounding true, it doesn't just fade away. It sticks and it spreads like wildfire across the internet. And that's the exact trap she fell into. So while critics were popping champagne over the validation, her loyal supporters were scrambling, trying to defend her, rushing to say it was unfair and over the top. But the more they tried, the worse it looked, because the louder the defense, the more it reminded people of the original joke. And suddenly the debate wasn't just about a cartoon anymore. It was about whether Meghan's whole public persona was really as fragile as the parody made it seem. And that's what turned the situation into something even more unbelievable.
What happened to your ring?
I gave it to the working people.
We're the working people.
Ooh, remind me to tell them the story about when I bought milk.
I think you just told it.
All right, so here's the messy part where everything really started to collapse for Meghan's biggest fans, because normally they're fast. They jump online, they defend her from every single criticism, but this time it just didn't work. The South Park parody was way too sharp, way too close to the truth, and even the most loyal ones had no real comeback. Some of them just went quiet, and that silence said more than words ever could, and the few who did try to fight back had nothing stronger than saying, it's only a cartoon. But come on, if it was only a cartoon, why did the jokes hit so hard and spread so far? The reason it stung is because the contradictions were already out in the open. South Park just turned the volume up, and millions of people couldn't stop laughing at how real it all felt. That stripped Meghan of the sympathy shield she had leaned on for years, and left her fan base looking powerless for once, unable to flip the story around in her favor. And as bad as that silence was, it was nothing compared to what came next, because the backlash went global and the humiliation turned into a storm she couldn't control.
How many more princes and his wives have to live in this nightmare?
Respect our top.
And this is where the chaos really exploded, because what began as just one funny episode suddenly turned into a worldwide storm, with clips bouncing from London to New York to Sydney, and everyone laughing at the same brutal jokes. And the wild part is South Park didn't just roast Meghan, they basically turned her into a permanent meme that the internet couldn't stop replaying. So instead of being seen as a polished duchess making serious headlines, she became a running cartoon punchline stuck on repeat. And the harsh truth is, once South Park drags you, it's like glue, it never washes off. Critics were calling it a cultural takedown, fans were saying it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen, and poor Meghan was left with zero control over how the world was looking at her, because when the internet grabs hold of a joke, it never lets go. It only grows, and that's exactly what happened here. The backlash hit new heights, the laughter got louder, and the storm around her image just kept spiraling.
Park County Police Station, what's your emergency?
Yeah, the neighbors across the street are setting off fireworks and it's 10:30 at night.
Oh, is it the Prince of Canada and his wife who just want to be left alone?
Got wilder, because instead of fading the jokes, just grew bigger with fans reusing clips, making TikTok edits, Twitter threads, and YouTube mashups, until it became a non-stop roast. The more people talked, the harsher it got, and Meghan's silence made it all look even worse.
I'm sorry, I need a drink.
Down with the motorhead! We deserve our privacy!
These people.
Now this is where it really turned ugly, because Meghan staying quiet made the whole thing look even worse. People kept waiting for her to fight back or laugh it off, but she said nothing, and that silence made it seem like the parody had actually hit her hard. So fans took it as proof she was rattled, and the longer she stayed quiet, the louder the internet mocked her, turning her silence into the biggest punchline of all.
Damn it, now the prince is playing polo on the lawn.
We are here because privacy is a basic human right.
Okay, so here's the wild twist. The South Park parody didn't just make people laugh, it actually reshaped how Meghan is seen, because when a joke feels true, it sticks, and suddenly she wasn't this polished figure anymore. She was the cartoon version South Park created, and that's the kind of stain no PR team can wash off fans even. Pointed out how satire usually outlives headlines, and that's exactly the trap she fell into. Now she's stamped in pop culture as a punchline, and the memes just keep coming while her silence makes it all look worse. And the real question is, can she ever rewrite this story, or has South Park sealed her image forever?